What's up, guys? All right, today I've got David's 2001 Toyota Tacoma, and we're going to be changing a oxygen sensor. Now, most vehicles come with more than one. This one has two. It comes with an oxygen sensor before the catalytic converter and one after. We've got a check engine light for a heater circuit malfunction and also the range and performance of the upstream sensor. So we're going to be changing sensor number one. I'll show you what it looks like from under the hood, and then we're going to lift the vehicle up and I'll show you how to change it from the bottom.
Okay guys, so here's the sensor located in the exhaust before the catalytic converter. I'll zoom out so you can get an idea of where it is in reference to the engine. If you follow the exhaust manifold underneath this intake boot, you'll see the metal pipe exit in one pipe, and there's our first sensor. So let's raise the vehicle up and take a better look.
Okay guys, we got the Tacoma lifted up and we can see an oxygen sensor here. This is going to be the upstream sensor, again, before the catalytic converter. The code that we have is for the range of performance as well as the heater circuit malfunction of bank 1, sensor 1. This is a 4-cylinder engine, so there is only one bank, and this is the first oxygen sensor in the stream. So we're going to go ahead and unplug the sensor, and then we will remove the two nuts holding this on. Next, what we're going to have to do is unplug the sensor. Now make sure the exhaust system is not too hot for you to burn your arm while you're up here reaching for this. So it's a good idea to possibly wait before doing this repair. Another thing I want to note is from the factory, there's going to be clips that are going to retain this oxygen sensor wire away from the exhaust and away from anything tearing it down. So when you do this clip, let's be very careful not to break it. We'll try to reuse it. There's little teeth that hook this thing together. See the teeth here? All you need to do is get underneath this to release these teeth and open it up. Okay guys, the connector for this upstream oxygen sensor is pictured right here above this heat shield and secured to a bracket attached on the transmission. You don't necessarily need to take this harness off of that bracket. If you hold it and pull on it gently while pushing on the tab, you should be able to disconnect it with no problem. Just like that.
So we've got the new upstream oxygen sensor. It's a Denso. Here's the part number we got. This is going to be the original replacement for this oxygen sensor. Everything is included: the gasket, the sensor, and the correct plug. That's always a plus. Some models may vary depending upon if it's a manual transmission or an automatic. Sometimes it also matters if it's a California emissions vehicle or not. That information can be found under the hood on the vehicle emissions control identification tag.
So we already sprayed penetrating oil on these nuts, and while we were waiting for that to kick in, we unplugged the oxygen sensor from the engine harness side. So now we need to take off these two nuts, and we should be able to go ahead and remove this oxygen sensor and move on to replacing it. Nice. Okay guys, we got both of the nuts off. Now we can remove the sensor. And look at that. I'd say that guy's lived a good life. Toyota, that's the original one. 2001 Toyota Tacoma with the original sensor. He's only gone 108,000 miles, but that's pretty good for the lifespan, the amount of years this thing has been in here. So there's actually a gasket on here that needs to be removed and replaced with a new one. Now I'm going to clean up this area a little bit just to make sure it has a nice tight seal with the new gasket. It's never a bad idea. Now we're ready for the new gasket. And finally the new sensor. We're going to reuse the nuts supplied by Toyota because they're going to be the best option. They're going to stand up to the heat and they're not going to back out. Start them by hand and then we're going to torque them down. Alright, so next we need to go ahead and plug in the sensor. Hear that click. And then from earlier, we saved our wire holder to keep it back in the OEM location. Beautiful. That's how you do it, guys. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. I'll include any videos or details on anything else. Thanks.